Okay, so we have all of the basic shapes modelled out, and we have a decent level of detail applied to them. What we want to do in this video then is tackle the application of our open subdivision modifier to the various pieces of our valve. With the bottom piece selected then, let's come to our Modify tab and apply an open subdiv modifier, setting it at a value of 2. And because we took the time to chamfer the edges here, you see that we are getting some quite nice creasing or rounding in those areas, and we can of course adjust things later on should we want or need to. For now though, I'm going to leave things as they are. Selecting our second piece, we can again add an open subdivision modifier and again set it at a value of 2. Now, if in our original modelling of this piece, the bevel didn't quite come inwards far enough, leaving a bit of a gap, we may need to come back to the editable poly level, come into border mode, select the top border and press R to engage the scale tool, and then holding down the shift key, just scale in a bit on the X and Y plane in order to create a new extrude. Moving on then, let's select our next piece of geometry and apply an open subdiv modifier to it, setting this one to an iterations value of 3. As you can see though, we now lose an awful lot of the geometry's original shape, which is not what we really want. Now we could make use of the crease or crease sets modifiers here and adjust the open subdiv smoothing from there, but in this particular instance, doing that still won't give us the shaping that we want, seeing as it produces a noticeable bit of pinching in some of the corners. To use a tried and trusted technique then, let's press F4 so that we can clearly see our mesh edges. Come into Edge Subobject mode in the modifier stack and turn on the Show End Result option. And then, after selecting one of the edges, press Alt-R to select the continuous ring that runs all the way around the mesh. Coming to the Loops panel on the ribbon, let's shift-click on the Connect tool, set the segments value at 2, and up the pinch amount just enough to push toward the edges and so create slightly harder rounding. We can then click OK. If we come out of Subobject mode now, deselect and then press F4 again, you can see that doing things this way has nicely restored the shape of our geometry. Looking at our reference, we see that we also have a fairly hard transition on the edge of our inner circle here, and so let's come back into Edge mode, isolate our selection by clicking on the button at the bottom of the Max UI, and just check the rounding that we have. If everything is looking good, we can move on, but if things are looking a little soft, then we may want to use the same techniques as demonstrated, only this time on the outside edges in order to sharpen those up a bit. In our next exercise then, I think we can move on to taking a look at cleaning up the screw or bolt holes because, as we have already mentioned, we are seeing a little bit of elongating here that does need sorting out.